Breaking news. Things are heating up, seriously heating up, and behind the scenes at Patriots Nation, there's movement happening in Foxborough, and there's a different energy in the air. It feels like the winds are shifting, and who knows, this might be the turning point every fan has been waiting for. But before I tell you what's going on, do this. Hit that like button if you believe the Pats have what it takes to make it to the next Super Bowl. Honestly, I'm feeling something special about this team. There's this vibe of rebuilding mixed with a real hunger for victory. It's not just optimism, it's faith in a team that's already proven itself to be great. And if you're feeling this vibe too, drop a comment below. Go Pats, I believe, because the journey might just be getting started, and we're going all the way together. The NFL just made a decision that will change how the game is played for at least one more season, and trust me, you're going to want to stick around to the end of this story, because this impacts the New England Patriots in ways you probably haven't even thought about yet. So, picture this. You wake up, you check Twitter, and there it is. A breaking report from Diana Rossini suggesting that the infamous Tush push was finally about to be banned. Relief, excitement. Patriots fans everywhere could finally stop worrying about that ridiculously effective play the Eagles have been abusing for 2 seasons. But then, in true NFL off-season drama fashion, that tweet disappeared. Just like that, the dream was over. Rossini had to walk it back, admitting that despite early reports, the Packers' proposal to ban the Tush push did not pass. It fell short by just 2 votes. That's right. 22 teams wanted it gone, but it needed 24. And here we are, heading into the 2025 season with the Tush push very much alive. Now, let's be clear. The Packers led this charge. Their proposal aimed to keep quarterback sneaks in the game, but eliminate the ability of running backs to push the QB over the line. That's the core of the Tush push. A human battering ram of offensive linemen and running backs forcing their way to first downs and touchdowns. Critics argue it's dangerous, but let's be real. There is no solid evidence that this play leads to more injuries than other plays in the trenches. In fact, it might be one of the safer plays in that close-quarters environment. But here's where it gets really interesting for Patriots Nation. This play doesn't just affect the Eagles. Sure, Philadelphia ran it 108 times since 2022 and turned it into an art form with their 86% success rate, well above the NFL average of 76%. But there's another team perfecting it right now, one that the Patriots face twice a year, the Buffalo Bills. Yes, Josh Allen and the Bills have run the Tush push 55 times since 2022, and they're not just running it, they're refining it. Under the watchful eye of defensive mastermind Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs figured out that the Bills consistently pushed left, and they were able to counter that in critical moments.
But don't think for a second that Sean McDermott and his staff haven't taken notes. The Bills are evolving their tush push game, preparing to go left, right, and straight up the middle, making it even harder for defenses, including the Patriots' defense, to anticipate. So, let that sink in. The Patriots, who play the Bills twice a year, now have to contend with this near-unstoppable play not once, but twice every season. If the Eagles are hitting on an 86% success rate, and the Bills aren't far behind, what does that mean for New England's chances in those crucial AFC East battles? And here's the kicker. Despite voting to ban it, the Bills are still going to run it. That's right, they wanted it gone. They voted against it, but now they get to keep using it. The hypocrisy is almost laughable. If you hate the play enough to vote it out, why are you still leaning on it when the game's on the line? But that's the NFL. Teams will use every advantage they can get, even if they tried to take it away from others. But let's turn this around and talk about how the Patriots can actually flip this to their advantage. Because here's the silver lining in all of this. New England was one of the 10 teams that voted against banning the Tush push. That's right. While most of the league wanted it gone, the Patriots, alongside the Eagles, Ravens, Jets, and Lions, said no thanks. Why? At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive. After all, the Patriots will now have to stop Josh Allen and the Bills' version of the play twice a year. But listen to what Mike Vrabel said a few months ago at the NFL owners' meeting. What I think we should not do and be careful of is there's a lot of different plays that you have to defend that the offense does well. And that particular play you have to defend. It's also tough to defend Lamar Jackson when he runs the ball. We just try to focus on what the rules are and try to use them to our advantage. That last part, use them to our advantage, is key. Vrabel, a football purist, understands that you can't just wish away plays that are difficult to stop. Instead, you adapt, you innovate, and maybe you implement them yourself. So now the big question, could the Patriots adopt the Tush push? And the answer is a resounding yes. Let's talk personnel. Enter Jerod Mayo. This kid is built for it, 6 feet 4 inches, 225 pounds, with the kind of legs that can move a pile. He's not Jalen Hurts level strong yet, but give him a year in an NFL strength program and he'll probably pack on another 10 pounds of muscle. He already makes plays with his legs, and he's not shy about lowering his shoulder to pick up a tough yard. And don't forget Rhamondre Stevenson, a downhill runner with a punishing style who could serve as the ideal pusher behind Maye. Pair those two with a revamped defensive line, and suddenly, the Patriots have all the ingredients to execute their own version of the Tush push. Plus, with Josh McDaniels back in New England for his third stint, you know he's not going to pass up the opportunity to innovate. McDaniels has always prided himself on evolving the Patriots' offensive scheme to fit the personnel. And what better way to modernize the attack than by incorporating a play that defenses across the league still can't figure out how to stop? Let's not forget McDaniels' own words. There's an evolution to our game that I think is important that you need to respect. I'm excited about what we're going to build here and the evolution of our offensive scheme, our offensive attitude. If that doesn't scream get ready for the Patriots version of the Tush push, I don't know what does. So here's where it all comes full circle. The play that once looked like it would be banned, the play that has haunted defenses, the play that the Patriots will have to stop twice a year against Buffalo. It could soon become one of New England's most potent weapons. Think about it. 3rd and 1, 4th and goal, game on the line, and there's Jerod Mayo with Stevenson right behind him, ready to shove him across the line of scrimmage. Patriots fans, you know how good Tom Brady was at the QB sneak. He practically made it a signature move. But this isn't your grandpa's QB sneak. This is the next evolution. This is the Tush push. So now I'm turning it over to you. Should the Patriots lean into this trend and fully embrace the Tush push? Or should they hold firm to tradition and keep it out of their playbook? Let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a Y for yes if you want to see the Pats run it, or an N for no if you think they should stay away. And don't forget, if you can't beat him, join him. Let me know where you stand. And here's something else you need to consider. Patriots fans, this isn't just about adding one more play to the playbook. This is about keeping up with the offensive innovations that are redefining how short yardage football is played across the league. The days of lining up in the I formation and hoping your running back can plow ahead for a yard are disappearing. The Tush push, or the brotherly shove as some call it, is a systematic, almost mechanical way to keep the chains moving. It turns 4th and 1 from a gamble into a near certainty. Let's look at the numbers again, because they are staggering. When the Eagles or Bills run the Tush push, they convert on 87% of their attempts. Think about that. Almost 9 out of every 10 times they line up for this play, they either get a touchdown or move the sticks. That's the kind of efficiency that wins playoff games, that sustains drives when your passing game stalls, and that demoralizes defenses. Now, we've all seen what happens when teams try to stop it. They load up the interior with 4, sometimes 5 defensive linemen, stacking the box and daring the offense to run it anyway. And every time, Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen just drives forward with a wall of humanity behind them. The Eagles and the Bills aren't using magic, they're exploiting leverage, physics, and